Hello and welcome to e-GMAT. We will solve question number 6 of OG Verbal Second Edition by using e-GMAT 3-step process. In the first step, we will understand the meaning of the sentence. In the second, we will evaluate the errors in the sentence. And finally, we will review all the answer choices to get to the correct answer. So let's begin. A Labor Department study states that the numbers of women employed outside the home grew by more than a 35% increase in the past decade and accounted for more than 62% of the total growth in the civilian workforce. Okay, so the sentence means that according to a Labor Department study, the number of women employed outside the home grew by more than 35%, and this increase has accounted for 62% of the total growth in the civilian workforce. Alright, so time for our error analysis, and we will do it by splitting our sentence into smaller clauses. So here goes our first clause. A Labor Department study states that, okay, so that means we have another clause that reads that the numbers of women employed outside the home grew by more than a 35% increase in the past decade and accounted for more than 62% of the total growth in the civilian workforce. Okay, so for the subject of the second clause, the numbers of women, we have two verbs, grew and accounted for. Okay, so accounted for falls in the non-underlined portion of the sentence and is written in the past tense. So is grew, so they are logically as well as grammatically parallel, so we need not worry about that. Okay, so now here the expression the numbers of women is not correct, because numbers means a large crowd. What the sentence wants to say here is a specific number of women that were employed outside the home. Okay, so in order to denote a specific number of the entity, we must use the expression the number of. So this should become singular here. Okay, we also see that the word grew and the word increase have been used together in this sentence. Now both these words mean the same thing, so using both these words together in the sentence makes one of them redundant, so we must get rid of one of them. Okay, so these are the errors in the sentence, and now let's begin the POE to find out what's the correct answer. As we discussed just now, choice A is not the correct answer. In choice B, we again see the same mistake with the expression the numbers of women. In choice C, there are two errors, the first one being the numbers of women, and the second one is were raised by. Now this expression in passive voice is wordy as well as ambiguous. Why ambiguous? Because it may indicate the level of increase as intended by the sentence, but it also mean nonsensically that more than 35% actually did the action of raising the number. So C is disqualified. In choice D, we see that the numbers of women has been turned to the number of women, which is correct, and we have just one expression increased here, so D seems to be the correct answer, but we will evaluate choice E as well. Okay, in choice E, we again have the same error of was raised, the passive voice, which makes the choice wordy and ambiguous, and along with raised, increase has also been used. Raised and increase mean the same thing, so increase becomes redundant here. So as we discussed, choice D is the correct answer for this sentence. Okay, time to take a look at the takeaway messages from this sentence. The expression numbers in plural means a large crowd. So when we want to talk about a specific number of any entity, the expression to be used is the number of X. That can be any entity. Okay, we must avoid redundant expressions in the sentence to keep it concise, and we must avoid using passive voice unnecessarily because they can create ambiguity. So whenever the sentence needs the usage of passive voice, we should only use it then. Okay, and now the concepts tested in this question has been covered in e-GMAT concepts, subject, verb, words that change number in level 2.